Hello, fellow brothers and sisters. This is Sabata with the Equatoria Advocacy Foundation. Today is July 19th, 2021, and we are roughly just a month and 2 days away from the Arizona conference. And I have come to give you some updates on the consultative process. Now, I just want to clarify why it is the Equatoria Advocacy Foundation who is giving the update. Why not the volunteers of the Equatoria who have come together to put together the conference? Now, the Equatoria Advocacy Foundation is facilitating the process, so they work kind of side by side with the volunteers, but the volunteers are basically the ones who are running it. Okay, they are the ones responsible with everything. So what I'm gonna be doing is I'm gonna actually be reading and then explaining some stuff from some of our working documents. We did put our working documents, we composed it in different pieces. So I've just taken a particular piece that is related to what I want to deliver to you. So I'm going to be talking to you on two things. I'm going to be talking about the consultative process. I'm just going to give some updates. And then the other thing I'm going to be talking about is I will pretty much be touch basing on the importance of the administration of the Equatoria people that is yet to be formed. Now, allow me just to read very quickly from this piece of a document here. This is the consultative process. Okay, today is Monday, July 19th, 2021. Subject: establishment of Equatoria Regional Council. All right. Now, the process is run by volunteers from the people of Equatoria, and the process is facilitated by the Equatoria Advocacy Foundation, as I've already explained it. Now, the Equatoria Advocacy Foundation has helped to form 3 teams out of the volunteers of the people of Equatoria. The teams comprise of people from Eastern Equatoria, Central Equatoria, and Western Equatoria. So basically, what the Equatoria Advocacy Foundation has done is the Equatoria Advocacy Foundation has played a part on identifying potential individuals who can make consultation with the community leaders that are coming from the Eastern Equatoria, Central Equatoria, Western Equatoria, and then the Equatoria Advocacy Foundation has helped them to compose teams. So now we have 3 teams. We have a team of people from Eastern Equatoria, team from people from Central Equatoria, team from people from Western Equatoria. Now, each team, excuse me, each team will consult with leaders who are coming from the geopolitical demographics of the area that the team comes from. Like, for example, the team of Central Equatoria will consult with the community leaders who are coming from the geopolitical demographics of what is called the Central Equatorians. The people from Western Equatorians are already ahead of the game. They have actually started identifying some of the individuals who would actually be occupying seats in the Regional Council. That's information that I've obtained 2 days ago. Now, the process is tailored to obtain 45 individuals, selected 15 each from 3 states that comprise the Equatorial region. The number of the selected individuals will add accordingly when deemed necessary. That is, these 15 individuals that are basically getting identified from Eastern Equatoria, Central Equatoria, and Western Equatoria is not going to be fixed. The number is going to be adding, okay, as when deemed necessary, okay, because we know that the process is in the beginning, and usually when people are still beginning something, usually it's not clear, and to obtain cooperation from the people sometimes gets a little bit hard. But as time go by, people will get used to this and understand it and find it and realize the importance of it, and they will come in. So once they start coming in, then the number of seats will be increased, so that the size of the council itself will increase. It might even end up doubling or tripling, because when you look at the Equatorians are about 3-point-something million, and if you're going to have a council that represents that voice, 45 is just a drop in the ocean. Okay. And just to make a footnote, we are going to have a starting point, a place where the whole plan is going to start. And for that reason, we are basically targeting that the representatives should predominantly be coming from United States, Canada, and Australia. Some in Europe as well. And I will explain why that is important. And that includes also because Equatorians who are coming from these areas, I believe, kind of economically at advantage. So whatever process will be needed that would demand money, it is going to be these guys who are going to be raising their money for the operation of the council. Anyways, I will explain further as we go by. Now, the 45 individuals shall be declared the Equatoria Regional Council members on August 21st, 2021, during the conference of the Equatorians in Phoenix, Arizona. The councils shall form the base for the quasi-administrative state of the people of Equatoria nationals. Quasi means kind of, a form of. It is an administrative state. So basically what we are doing is we are setting an administration for the people of Equatoria. And it's going to look like a government eventually, because right now we are beginning with the council. And eventually, as time goes by, the council is going to be establishing some service administrative organs. All right, and in a minute I will also explain what is called the executive branch of the whole quasi-administrative state of the Equatoria. So it's basically going to be looking in form of a government, and there is a purpose for that. And it's quasi because it is a form of, it is not a government, because we have a legitimate government in South Sudan, but it's just a quasi-administrative form of a state for the people of Equatoria. The council shall coin a name for the quasi-administrative state of the nationals of Equatoria. Now, it's going to be up to the council to coin a name. The council is going to be responsible with a lot of things here and there. And the quasi-administrative state shall be registered in USA, Canada, Australia, and other parts of the world where advocacy on Equatoria matters is actively exercised. Now, let me explain this in depth, and this is very, very important. This administration that is getting set eventually is going to be registered in places where advocacy on Equatoria matters is actively exercised. For example, in the United States of America, Canada, Australia, and some other parts of the world where excuse me, where advocacy on Equatoria matters are actively exercised. The administration that is yet to be formed is going to be registered as advocacy groups. Let me explain this. Let me explain this, and this is very important, and I want you people to pay attention. Now, when this quasi-administrative state of the Equatoria is formed, And of course, it comprises of what is called the council members. Now, the council members will eventually decide on a name for it. Now, let me give you an example. You see how the Nigerians right now are talking about the Biafra state? The name Biafra is a name of the state that they had sometimes before, which was not recognized and eventually got destroyed. All right. Now they are talking about it because they felt the international community had neglected that state until it got destroyed, but they felt it is their rightful, it's their right to have it. So now they are basically talking to the international community that they want their state back. It should be recognized back. But anyways, I'm just giving you an example of the fact that states can be given names. So with respect to the Equatoria Council, that is the formed quasi-administrative state of the Equatoria, the council will be expected to come up with a name. When the council comes up with a name, now what is going to happen is that quasi-administrative state of the Equatoria must be registered in countries where Equatorial matters are actively being advocated. That is, for example, in the United States of America, there are advocacy groups, including the Equatoria Advocacy Foundation. They will register the formed quasi-administrative state and its name. They will register it here as an advocacy for a particular reason. Now, the same name and the same quasi-administrative state will also be registered in Australia, will be registered in Canada and some other parts, so that all those who are advocating actively on Equatorial matters will be advocating within the setup of this administration. So it will be like an administration that is being set up, but the administration has what is called units advocating in different places, in America, in Canada, in Australia, and some other part of the Scandinavian countries or the European countries. Now, the importance of doing that is because every country, first of all, before I explain this, I want to say this, that in order to be effective in advocacy, your advocacy should be recognized in the hosting country that you are advocating for. And because we want to make sure that the quasi-administrative leadership of the Equatoria is going to be very effective in only advocacy, okay, to talk about Equatoria matters to the international community. So it is very important that they get registered in these places. Now, if they are to influence these places, then they'll have to make sure that they register themselves as advocacies. And each country has their own requirements by which they recognize what is called advocacies. For example, in the United States of America, the standards by which the system recognizes what is called an advocacy and what responsibilities of advocacies are in the United States of America is different from in Canada, and it's also different from in Australia. There could be similarities, but there are also slight differences. In the United States of America, advocacies can pay taxes and can also be tax exempted. For an advocacy that desires to be tax exempted, they will have to file for a special status. And that status is regulated under Article 501, Code 4. And there is a section also that provides for how it regulates this. So it said it's 501c4. When you obtain that status, then you don't pay taxes, all right? And then you get recognized as an advocacy, and you are then allowed, you will be allowed then to advocate on even political matters because of your status. The same scenario may not apply somewhere in some other parts of the country. That is why it is very, very important. It's very, very important that first we will have that quasi-administrative regional administration of the Equatoria gets set, which comprises of the base, which is the council, and then the council will then delegate these advocacies in different places to advocate in their name. All right. So in other words, people in the Equatoria Advocacy Foundation, those who are in the Equatoria Advocacy Foundation, somebody like me, somebody like Dennis Kibo, and others who are in the Equatoria Advocacy Foundation, will find themselves then eventually that if they are going to be advocating for the Equatorians here in the United States of America, then they would advocate under that name, under that newly created, what is called the group advocacy. All right. And it gives us the legitimacy to speak on behalf of these Equatorians, because the council is representation of the people of Equatoria sending these council members in. All right. So this part is really, really very important. So I would encourage advocacy organizations that are advocating on behalf of Equatoria in different parts of the world would basically put their minds together, and there are in this consultative process that we are going on. I am making contacts here and there. A couple of days ago, I called Federico in London, but we haven't still talked. But still, I'm going to be calling him later so that we discuss because I think he does advocacy. I heard that, and I will try to find out some other advocacies. I want to make sure that we all put our minds and accept and recognize such a council, so that eventually, as we continue making these advocacies, let us all advocate as one huge block, even though we are in different places. You see, let those in Europe be advocating in Europe, those in Canada be advocating in Canada, those in Australia be advocating in Australia, those in America will be advocating in America. But let us advocate as one entity. You see, as one entity in different parts of the world. All right. And also as we do that, we will also be seeking what is called international recognition. All right. So that we will be recognized as those, even though we are units in different places, but it should be recognized that these are the guys who are speaking, who are advocating for the voice of Equatorians. So that next tomorrow, for example, there are times when I advocated for Equatoria, and I advocated under the Equatoria Advocacy Foundation. There is an impression that there is a doubt whether I am legitimately speaking voice of the entire Equatorians, and that makes advocacy less strong. But if we are coming out to advocate under an entity that we have established, that pretty much looks more of something that is of a regional bloc, and are delegated to go and kind of advocate as different units in their places, then once the hosting country where we are advocating recognizes us, trust me, you will get a business card and you will walk to whether it is US Department of State, or if you're in Canada, how you call yours, or whether you're in Australia, how you call yours, you will just be walking in whenever there are issues that are of concern that you need to lay down. Because you will already be having certain cases that have already been placed there pending and expected to be built upon. You see, and I hope that is not very confusing. But as time go by, hopefully, I will be able to clarify this in some other occasions. Now, as I'm concluding, I would like to say this whole initiative is planned to do the following. One, to unite Equatorians under a single leadership. All right? It is to unite Equatorians under a single leadership, because you can imagine, excuse me, the single leadership here is the council. All right? The council of the Equatorians is the unit of the leadership. These 45 seats that have been provided, which eventually will be built upon. This is the nuclei of the leadership of the Equatoria people. All right? And that is why it is a representative of people from Central, Eastern, and Western Equatoria. Because these three states form what is called the Equatoria. So, number one, the whole initiative is planned to unite Equatorians under a single leadership. Second is, the whole initiative is planned to advocate interests of the people of Equatoria under a single and solid leadership. You see, because if we do not have such kind of a single leadership, then interests of Equatorians gets to be kind of disseminated into what is called tribal groups. Let me give you a simple example. Security, for example. The whole of the Equatoria people are facing some security threats, all right? To an extent that could lead them even to be extinct. But you will hardly find Equatorians talking about security as a whole and how to manage it. But they talk about it in tribes. You know, if you go to the Madi community, I'm sure they're worried about security. You go to the Kakwa, they are worried about security. Okay, I'm sure if you come to the tribes in the central, to tribes in the Western Equatoria, they're also worried about security. But we cannot worry about such kind of things isolately within our tribal communities, because they are something that is of our shared or common interest. All right, so they rather be addressed properly at the level of Equatoria single leadership, which comprises of Eastern, Central, and Western Equatorians. Now, the third thing the whole initiative is planned to achieve is, and this is very important, it completes a prerequisite that requires a form of state or government for qualification of a recognition of state nation in the event the people of Equatoria decide to secede. This is very important because, excuse me, because in 1933, at a convention in Montevideo, the capital of Portugal, in 1933, I don't know if Montevideo is still the capital of Portugal or not, it has been resolved that for the international community to recognize a group of people, a nation, to have to be recognized, to have the qualification to be independent or to secede from another part of an administration, there are 4 requirements. Number 1, there has to be the population. Okay. Number 2, there has to be the territory, the geographical territory. Of course, Equatoria has a geographical territory. It has a population. There has to be adequate resources that could allow these people to engage in what is called economy if they succeed. Equatorians have that. Equatorians have gold. Equatorians have uranium. Now, the 4th requirement is that then this group of people must have a form of a state, a form of a government. So when we form something like that, it completes this requirement, all right? And it puts Equatoria to a complete fulfilled status to get support or to get recognized if they choose to succeed. And it will depend on how they lobby with international actors here and there, because there will be some actors who will recognize you, some actors will not recognize you, and yeah, that will fulfill that requirement pretty much. Brothers and sisters, this is what I think I should share with you this morning, and I hope I have not bored you so much. And let us come together, yes, as Equatorians, and basically help out the volunteering team who are now going through the consultative process. And please, Equatorians, take this serious, and let us work together to get the Arizona Conference initiative produce the necessary leadership that we need so that we will be able to move on wisely. Thank you very much, and God bless you. I will come again to share with you some important information here and there. Thank you.